Hello and welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. I'm Rod, your happy hippie, and it's a Sunday morning while I'm filming this. And I welcome you into the man cave to hang out this morning and have some coffee. Or if it's this evening while you're watching it, or tomorrow, it's whatever works. Whiskey, water, chocolate milk, but I'm having some coffee. The other day, our good friend Ron Haggerty from the VC, I think his channel now is Ron's Record Sanctuary, I believe. Great channel, great guy. He did his top 10 albums from 1970. And this is all a matter of opinion, and he clearly stated these were his favorite 10 albums from 1970. He wasn't claiming him to be the very best 10 or whatever. I'm thinking 1970, wow, that was 50 years ago. I was like 4. Anyway, I went back and I looked at some of the music that was out then, and I picked out my top 10 from 1970. So I guess we can make this a thread. It was a really cool idea. First off, I'm going to do 2 honorable mentions. Black Sabbath Paranoid, one of my favorite albums ever, and Deep Purple and Rock. These were both fantastic albums, but they did not make my top 10. And my top 10 go like this. Y'all know I love the Dead. I've got the Dead shirt on. They had 2 albums released that year. And in Ron's video, there's another band, Black Sabbath, released 2 albums that year. But he only included 1 in his top 10. Well, this is my top 10. It's a little different. So, I've got 2 albums tied for number 1, both by the Grateful Dead. The Working Man's Dead, really touching on their country roots on this one, and American Beauty, which gave us great songs like Box of Rain, Friend of the Devil, Sugar Magnolia, Ripple, Truckin'. This album could almost be a best of album. And this album's solid as well. It'd be hard for me to pick which one I liked better. So I've got them tied for the number 1 album of 1970. And of course, my opinion. Number 2, Neil Young. Mr. Neil Young. Southern Man. Of course, the name of the album is After the Gold Rush. But it has the great song Southern Man on it. After the Gold Rush. The Morning Comes. I Believe in You. Only Love Can Break Your Heart, I believe, is on here. Maybe that's on Harvest. Anyway, regardless, Neil Young, fantastic album, and it comes in at number 2 on Rod's top 10 1970 albums, or top 10 of the 1970. At number 3, for me, Pink Floyd, Atom Heart Mother. And this is just headphones only type music. Shit will blow your mind, man. If Summer 68, Fat Old Son, just Father Shout. Some really, really deep stuff, some really cool stuff on this album. And like I said, it's great with the headphones. Adam Hart Mother, Pink Floyd. And that's number 3 for me. At number 4, Led Zeppelin 3. Is there anything I have to say about this album? Overall, it's probably my favorite Led Zeppelin album. And it's coming in at number 4 on my list. At number 5, Black Sabbath, the first album by Sabbath, with the songs Black Sabbath on it. Very eerie album. Almost touching on psychedelic. Great, solid album by Black Sabbath, and it comes in at number 5. Number 6, I got, for me, Derek and the Dominos. Great album by Derek and the Dominos. Got Bell Bottom Blues, Tell the Truth, I'm Yours, Any Day Now, Layla, Little Wing, their version of Little Wing. Very, very good album. Highly recommend this album. If you like guitar playing, you like Eric Clapton. Small Faces, featuring Ron Wood, who would go on to play for the Rolling Stones. Ron Wood would go on to replace Mick Taylor, who had replaced Brian Jones. Anyway, Rod Stewart on vocals. Very solid rock and roll album. It's not Rod Stewart's 80s kind of top 40. This is really good, solid rock and roll. 10 years after, Cricklewood Green. And they have a song on here, 50,000 Miles Beneath My Brain. It's really, really just a good, solid rock and roll album. It seems like a lot of those albums from 1970 were gatefolds. 10 years after, great rock and roll from 1970. I guess this would be number 9, Aretha Franklin. This Girl Is in Love with You Live. She covers some Beatles on here. Eleanor Rigby, Let It Be. Does some really, really great stuff on this album. Daughter of a Preacher, Aretha Franklin. And last but not least, I'm going with another album live. Another live album, the Rolling Stones, Get Your Ya-Ya's Out. And that's my top 10 favorite albums from 1970. And again, this was started by Ron Haggerty. It's all a matter of opinion. We're not saying these are the 10 best albums of 1970. There are 10 favorite albums. And yeah, I know the Beatles came out with Let It Be in 1970. But I don't have a copy to show you. Or that possibly maybe have made the list. It may have made the list, right? Guys, whatever you're doing, I hope you're doing it well. Thanks for watching. Be good to each other.